Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one drink that we rule them all. Hope you'd remember your towels. Get your Uru fingers and your needler guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the big tank. To the big tank. The Rocky Mountain big tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
And this is Geek Tank.
Your most made-uply successful podcast you've ever watched. I mean, our success is all in our minds. It's a Morgan.
Morgan.
Howdy, hey.
From 100 years ago.
Yay! I know. I occasionally, when I go to Starbucks, I wonder about you and how you're doing because I'm in totally different Starbucks now.
Right?
Starbuy? Is it like
Starbuy?
Pegasi instead of Pegasus?
Yeah, because we don't actually like go to that Starbucks because since COVID happened, everything kind of got weird.
Well, it's awesome that you're watching. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Our third co-host will be here soon. We don't know why he's running late, but he informed us
he is running late.
Hey, Bob. Late. It's a Bob.
Of course we remember you.
Because unless I'm remembering you incorrectly, you have an affinity for things that are Disney and Disneyland. Is this the same Morgan I'm thinking of? And I know it'll take a minute for it to catch up. Hey, Brent. You actually got beat by other people. You weren't the first one here.
That's I know.
Shocking.
Brent's slacking.
Slacker. So I was able to read up on that during the opening credits, like I said I was going to. So I got together with Guy a couple of minutes before the show started. I'm thinking of no, but this was the Starbucks right there off of Wadsworth and 6th.
It is Wadsworth and 6th, yeah. No, it's
like a little south of 6th, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
You're in the right Starbucks.
Okay.
And no, you're not. Yeah, you're right. That's
Arrowed. Watch. Yep. And first, yeah. So a little bit south of 6th.
Yep.
Okay. My brain's lying to me. I have a visual of what you look like, and it helps that there's a picture there too, although it's extremely tiny. So yeah, Brent sent us a thing about the game company or the IP, intellectual property of War Machine being purchased by Steamforge. When I got here, I told Guy my ideal for our topic for tonight. He liked it, but he said, what about the thing Brent sent us? And I had not read it yet because I've been working all day. And so during our opening credits, I quickly read it so I could catch up with it. And I'm glad I did because Guy thought it was Games Workshop because he's not a tabletop miniature player unless the miniatures are tiny spaceships.
Right? I have priorities.
And these are not tiny spaceships, as is neither Warhammer. But Warhammer and War Machine both start with the word war and have little dudes that you push around and you roll dice. So I can see why Guy would get them confused. War Machine, the story background for it is it's more of a mixture of steampunk and magic. I'm going to add Alex here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know who Morgan is.
Hi, Alex.
Following. Alex is here.
Indeed.
We hope Alex is here. Okay,
yep.
Alex is here. Good.
I was just talking about a thing that Brent had sent us, talking about a company purchasing the rights IP to a thing called War Machine. And I was quickly explaining the difference between War Machine and Warhammer. I tried War Machine for a while. The thing that attracted me to it was, one, I thought steampunk and magic being mixed together was pretty cool. The miniatures looked really neat. And by their rules, you had less miniatures on the table than you ever would for a War Machine, Warhammer game. Therefore, War Machine was cheaper overall. And I really liked how they did their cards because all the information for your character was on like a Magic the Gathering card front and back. You could slide it into a sleeve and then check off the little boxes when damage happened. So it was really well thought out mechanics for a game. I cooked you a rum cake. How dare you confuse my rum cake for guys cooking?
My rum cake could just make you sick. So there's that.
Get ready for this guy. That was my mom's
your mom
recipe. Uh, cool. But yeah,
It's all right. I think I'm pretty much on track with who you are, so we're good.
he's been out ninjaing, doing ninja stuff.
I was last weekend. I was out visiting my folks out in Las Vegas. Weekend before, I think I was sick. So
I think you were too.
Yep.
I mean, you're still with us, so that proves that you probably still are sick. I'm just saying.
In any case, I don't know what this means for it. I don't know if this is going to breathe new life into War Machine. I know that there's guys at our coffee shop that we go to occasionally, Enchanted Grounds, that play there, and they play that. I kind of fell out of playing it because Bonnie Bray closed down a long time ago, and Bonnie Bray was where I used to play. So yeah, we'll have to see. They did do a so-so turn-based version of it for Steam that you could get for a few bucks, and it was okay, but it had bugs and it didn't have enough love going into it by the people who ran it to really make it work, which is a shame because it could have been cool. But yeah. So the topic I was thinking of covering tonight, Alex, was exploring kind of the definitions of. That's okay. I forgive you, Morgan. I was being much more harsh than I actually really meant to be.
Yeah, he was being horsey.
Yeah.
It's not, he's not serious at all.
Never.
I can't remember names to save my life, which is why I don't think I remembered you until you described yourself. Because I'm like, yeah, Morgan, who's Bob. Like everybody else is Bob. So.
Holy crap.
Oh, no.
wow, that's pretty shitty.
That's pretty shitty.
I hope you've recovered with
okay
long-term damage. I mean, obviously, unless if you're a ghost, you're not dead.
Yeah. If you're a ghost, though, text us. I mean, or tap twice or something. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Morgan knows that you and I are both driving instructors.
Yes. I don't think so.
Yeah. Wow. I was
talking to our kids about texting and driving.
Every class when I get to that point, because we have to explain, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what age you are, if you are driving, texting is illegal. However, if you're 18 and over, you are at the moment, for now, legally allowed to make phone calls. Or if it's an emergency and you're under 18. Those are the only situations. And I always ask, whose parents text while driving? And I get at least one, if not a few kids who's like, my parents text while they're driving. It's like, you need to tell them this is 100% illegal and it's not smart. They should either save it if it's private or pass the phone to you and have you be their secretary and actually do the texting for them. Sorry to hear that happened. Although, did it lead to a lawsuit where you sued them and became rich because they were some rich jerk? Because that would be a happy ending to that. I'm guessing probably not.
But we could try.
I can hope. Oh my God. Wow. That's harsh. If you need company, let us know.
Yep.
You were there for
we will come geek tank with you.
Yep. So we were I was telling Guy before we started the show, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about the definition and meanings of both being successful and being happy. Because we live in a capitalist society, a lot of people equate getting money being successful. And this came up because I was talking to Tara about how different my life is now. Yeah, thank you for the congratulations on the instructor thing. Yes, well, tell them your story. But I was talking to Tara and about how different our values were set by our parents. Because her values that her parents had set in place were really about pushing the idea of being successful at achievements. So getting good grades, writing awesome papers, great performances kind of thing. Whereas my parents always tied in, you're not successful if you aren't making a lot of money. How you make a lot of money doesn't matter. The point is you make a lot of money.
Right.
So they never really focused on individual achievements or that kind of success, which I think was part of the root of, I'd mentioned before that I feel like many members of my family, not all of them, have a very mercenary kind of mindset coming down to, as long as I'm getting money out of this, it doesn't matter what lines I cross.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of mindset. And I've often joked before that I'm a conflicted character class because I have the knowledge and desire to do things that rogues would do, but I'm also driven by like a paladin's heart. So I can't break my alignment and do the things that I actually have the skills for. So I guess that's why I became a bard instead, since
There you go.
I can walk that gray line as a bard. But yeah, I've definitely reassessed success. Like our show, we've been going since 2014.
Yeah.
It's 2024. Geek Tank's 10 years old. We are by no means what I think people would call successful. However,
we have 2 viewers right now. We're just saying.
We have 2, although there were 4 talking to us, so I don't think that's an accurate count.
It isn't an accurate count. It never is.
Oh, Florida, I don't think we can visit you there.
We can visit you in spirit, and you can join us. We're on every Monday night at this time.
Yeah.
So you can always join us, and
wow.
we'll visit with you.
That's insane.
And help you. Yeah, I know. That's just that's brutal.
I will come back to this. I want to finish my thought here, but I do have something I want to say about the thing that happened to Morgan and connection there. But I was looking at this. I feel because we've been really happy with all of the material that we've put out there because of the time we've spent doing Geek Tank, that we are successful because we enjoy it. We wouldn't show up here every Monday if we didn't enjoy doing this, because it's certainly not for the money.
We're not here for the money,
which is non-existent, but that's fine because we're having fun. And it's we've had different people come into our crew and leave our crew because other things came up, and Alex is now in our crew. When you've been here for a while, which is awesome, you've been here long enough that you're still not in the credits.
Yeah, that actually is on my to-do list during the summer. But I have to add that you guys are going to have to figure out what to do to put Alex in the credits. I mean, I like Alex's idea, but I'm still going to need pictures. I'm not going to sketch Alex.
There's pictures on the internet out there of him. You can just
You got pictures of me. You got tons of pictures of me.
Actually, I do. I took really good pictures. One of my favorite pictures I ever took was of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The one where I had the lighting on you and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the red light and I had the blue light, and you're just like, and it looks so cool. And I'm like, that's literally what it did. It came out of the camera like that. I didn't have to do any Photoshop work or anything.
Nice.
And I'm like, that's one of my favorite pictures.
I'm sad that photo from New Year's Eve where Alex was like doing kind of like a sexy dance and I was tucking a dollar bill in his pants vanished from the world. Because that would have been fun to have. I'm going to read Bob's thing here that he posted. It's interesting to talk about success. He was going to go to his 30-year high school reunion this Saturday, changed his mind, not all that interested in the success of people who were awful to him. Absolutely makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Why go associate with people you didn't like then? You're not going to like them now.
Right.
Hey, Bob, would you text me the information for the high school reunion or any kind of pre-party or after party? Because I love crashing my high
Dojo storming.
Like, I did not complete high school in the traditional manner. I did not graduate. I went to senior year purely for social reasons. I only went to classes that I found compelling for some reason, even if it was to be antagonistic to the instructor. I only completed assignments that I found interesting.
I see.
My best friend and I at the time, a few weeks after graduation time, we went to the GED testing, and we tested. GED is supposed to take like at least 8 hours. We tested all the GED tests in about 5. Our proctor was. They said they asked us, "Why are you here? You're so smart." We looked at each other and looked at the proctor and told her, "Because we're so smart." We tested out of high school.
Nice.
Yep. Nothing on the test. There was nothing on the test that we didn't know before high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've never been invited to a high school graduation or reunion. Obviously, I didn't graduate, therefore I wasn't there.
Right.
The very first one, the 10-year, was at a bar and pool hall, I think, in South Old Town, Arvada. My best friend, same best friend at the time, we crashed it. We hung out at the bar because they didn't rent out the whole space, so we went to the bar and held court as people came to us to hang out.
Yeah, that's Alex. Such an Alex thing to do.
You know, I mean, as much as
I'm
there's
not
a fraught
complaining.
history between us, me plus Leo,
Yep.
there's no way that
Mhm.
people could resist.
Well, now the information's right there, so everybody can storm this.
Freedom Street. What's that?
Sounds made up.
I'm gonna Google that shit.
Go to 1111 Fake Street. Yeah, Tara and I have never been to any of our high school reunions because it was over in
Lot of
Germany.
tugs.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the story about that. But they usually happen in Texas, and we don't want to go to Texas. But because we're all military brats, it's hard to pick a central place for kids to have the reunion from the high school. And there's only a handful of people that we'd really want to see, and most of them we see already, so we don't have to go to a reunion to see them.
Right.
Man. Oh, okay. So in any case, we Tara and I were talking about that, and that related to that success. The thing I wanted to bring up, a sort of rabbit hole a little bit towards Morgan's thing, is Guy and I have been kicking around the idea of starting another podcast that's specifically on the topic of driving and driving safety. We haven't explored it a whole lot, but since we're both driving instructors, it just kind of makes sense
Yeah.
that we do that. And if you're interested, if we ever get around to that, because we're both horrible procrastinators as well, if you're cool with it, I think it would be interesting to have you on as a guest and interview you about your experiences, and as a cautionary tale for people who decide to text. Today, I actually taught today, and today's class is the one where I cover that within 1 second at 60 miles per hour, you travel 88 feet. And so if you look down for a single second, that's 88 feet. That something can happen that you have no idea what's happening and you can't control it.
Yeah. Usually, I covered today survivorship bias,
Mhm.
which is generally something I bring in. Because I was like, that's the thing about texting and driving. We've been hammering it into your head since you were an infant, and you don't text and drive. You don't text and drive, and the problem is going to happen is you will sit there, and at one point, your mom will send you a text.
Your mom.
And you'll pick it up real quick, and you know you're not supposed to do this, and nothing happened. Your car didn't blow up. Nothing occurred. So maybe Guy is just stupid. And after a few times like that, it becomes really easy because it isn't the texting and driving. This is why I love watching Final Factor, because Final Factor is so apt, even though it's from 1980 frickin' 1. And it really is, because that's an 81 Rabbit that the girl's driving. And I'm like, that's the newest car there. And it talks about Jane, what's her name, and her brand new expensive car. That's a 1979 Buick Regal, so it can't be too new. So I'm like sitting there going, none of these cars are past 81. So I'm like, at best, this is 1981. And it's hard to tell with the Rabbit because it could be an 80 Rabbit. So it might have been 1980. But either way.
This movie shows how multiple things cause the accident, not just a single thing, typically.
You'd be an awesome guest, Morgan. Oh, yeah. Self-driving cars. Here we go. Yeah, we got a lot to say about that.
We've never covered that, so much so that we're not going to cover it right now again.
Right? I actually was, though, I'm really liking this concept of success.
Good.
What is success? Because I've been thinking about that a lot recently since I have made a career change.
Yeah, you had to change paths based off of
and I had to change paths because even though I'm not success-based, I can't live at $30,000 or $25,000 a year either. That is below the threshold of pain here, And so there's no way to stay as an artist, and I'm not good at following up. I'm not good at keeping on things like this. So I'm changing paths so that I can go be a scientist, which turns out to be actually super interesting and super fun and way cool. But it is still like it's a change of path. And what is the success rate on that? I mean, what does it make it successful? So I've just been thinking a lot about that too.
Cool.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I've never been a greedy man.
Yeah.
I've often said that if I won the lottery, and by winning the lottery I mean like win like $100,000, that would be life changing. I would pay off all our debts and yada yada yada, and set some stuff aside and all that. So I mean, I when I was younger, I would definitely bought into. I mean, I was inculcated. The fish does not question the water it swims in.
Mm-hmm.
About money, monetary success being success.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, shortly after high school, I mean, I had friends going to college or trade schools or getting apprenticeships and such, and I didn't. I was much more concerned with my own development at the time, and then in a very physical sense. And I joke with people that I got my master's in kicking ass and taking names.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
More of the first one, not as much as the second one, but still.
Right. But
taking ass and kicking names.
Well, whatever
works.
Right? But yeah, even now I've been more focused on my development, my growth.
You've been kicking ass at that too, buddy.
Thank you. And it's just there are interesting things to be done. I'm actually right now changing career paths again, because the career path that I decided to get into a little over a year ago, I've decided is not for me.
Yeah.
It is just for a variety of reasons. I'm just not really built for it, which is really funny. One of the reasons why I got into it was to help people, but it turns out that especially younger me, who did not care either as a reality or affect, cares too much.
Yeah.
And it's just can't do it, can't hang.
Yeah.
And much respect to those who do it and can.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's
just
it's a bit of a shame that
years I hope to be making about $150,000 a year.
Nice.
Which, as for my metric, is above and beyond what I thought I'd ever do, as I'm not monetarily driven.
John Boyd was asking if you don't mind sharing what it was that you were doing.
Oh, I'm working in social work, basically. I'm working for, in Colorado, Jefferson County Department of Human Services, long-term care financial eligibility. And the need to try to help people navigate a system which is actively, at worst, actively hostile, and at best negligent, is too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
What's a shame is the people who would be best at these jobs hurt the most by doing it emotionally. My mom,
your mom,
thank you, worked as a family advocate for military folks, and she had a really kind heart, and it really burned her out helping families. But she was great at her job, other than she couldn't leave the job. So she would bring home all these stories, and it's like, wow, it was horrible what that soldier was doing to his family, but I'm really glad I was able to be there to help separate them and get that going. Not all soldiers are bad. I'm just saying that being a soldier is a very stressful job, and it brings with it problems of its own. And if a person doesn't know how to deal with those problems, they could deal with them in the incorrect way and cause other people to suffer. Social workers and advocates help in those situations, keep people safe.
Sure. I mean, and no, not all soldiers are bad. But your mom was working in that area, so that was what she did.
Mm-hmm.
On the same token, my mom was a probation officer.
Your mom.
Yep. And I mean, that was a thing she did at night, and she did it as a volunteer. she volunteered that as, I mean, because her day job was in the movies.
Mhm.
She was a talent agent and stuff like that. So, but this was her, I just want to help job.
Mhm.
And
I remember you telling me at times that she'd actually use your house to bring people as a transitional space, safe
Yep.
space.
It's a safe space. So I grew up with people like that all the time, and it was a thing. But you know, it's interesting because, you know, as a person, one of the theories that I work on is that we all mean to do well, and we want to do the right thing. And when we do the wrong things, it's because we're either given the wrong information, which could be either something we're operating on or something deeply held that we believe. But either way, you know, I firmly believe you can undo that somewhere along the line. And it's hard having grown up, you know, listening to some of these stories that my mom had told
Your
me about her probationers and things like that.
I think that intention is one of the things that draws us to teaching driving instruction, because it's certainly not the money.
It's not the money.
But it's about that feeling that if one kid remembers to look left, center, right at every intersection they go through and avoids getting hit by that person who ran the red light, we've done our job.
Mm-hmm.
In that. So we could just really try to spread that. You know who else that I really think does their job really well? They really care about people, and I hope for lots of success for them.
Is our sponsors. Because Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, The Massage Wizard, and your mom.
Thank your mom for us. Give her a big hug. Unless if she's a horrible person, still thank her from us. That way it confuses her and makes her upset.
Right.
I don't know.
What?
So yeah, my another thing that had happened, Tara and I have a financial guy, and we've had one for a while. And we occasionally have meetings with them online and going over our finances. It actually finally sunk into me, wow, financially we're actually really successful, and our kids aren't going to be anywhere near the same situation I was in when I was a kid, where my parents had to get on food stamps, and they were actually ashamed of it because the stigma of needing help from the government meant that you must be a freeloader, which my parents weren't. They were just struggling.
I actually, that is exactly what I'm going through right now. I went to school and talked to them about this whole situation, and the lady that I'm with my the money situation, and the lady I met with said, you probably should look to see if you should be on food stamps. And I did the same thing. I'm like, no, I don't need to. Yes, I do. I'm working, and I'm a full-time student, and I've got a kid and a mortgage. Any help I can get would be great.
Yeah. It's because you and I grew up in the same time where there's a huge push by a certain political group to make people feel bad about needing help and to not want to take that help or hide it. It sucks that still carries on, and there's people who feel that way too, that people asking for help must just be lazy and not that they're just in a situation where they need help.
Yeah, and all I need is I just need to be helped out for the next couple of years until I get my graduate degree, and then I'm out. I got everything planned after that. You know, once I'm clear of my PhD, I know where I'm headed. But I got to make it to the PhD, and all of this weird crap is like, you know, it's going to end up stopping me from doing it. And then put me into, you know, not a very useful or helpful place. What's the point of that? You know,
I still remember what government cheese tastes like.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It tastes like the blood of the workers.
The blood of the workers. So, but I didn't mean to take away your statement there, Troy.
You jerk.
Well, no, I just realized suddenly that I'm literally in that position.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of not looking like you need help or such was so strong in my mom's mind
Your mom.
that she wanted to present to the world that we were okay and well off, to the point to where she forced me to wear like polyester pants that were black, because in her mind, well, if you're wearing dress pants, we must be okay financially. So which I absolutely hate those kinds of pants because I was
Yeah.
forced to wear them. Um, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that's if you can
That-
come to terms with being successful is not necessarily the measure of how much money you make, but something else. I really feel that helps lead to a more healthier happiness that you can get to.
And I will address John Boy's question and add to it at the same time. John Boy, I'm going back in to be a cultural anthropologist. And the reason is because I have traveled a long way in my life, and I love observing cultures and watching people.
Guy likes to
And-
watch.
And yes, I like to watch. And I like to see what they're doing. And I think that it's now my time to change modes and start giving back to the culture. It's my time to start being the scientist, analyzing and helping people out. And I really want to get into a place where I can help people. And cultural anthropologists are out there analyzing how we operate, and it helps people make better societies. And so that's what they do. And I'm like, you know what? I'm into this plan. Go out there, help people. And yeah, thanks, AI. Yeah, because AI pretty much did kick me out of art.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. I'm okay with it.
What's funny is it looks like thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al.
You're
Jeez,
welcome.
Al.
Actually, nobody here's allowed to call me Al.
No.
You're not an owl.
There
That
is
just
only one person
doesn't fit.
who I allow to call me Al, and the last time I saw them, they didn't even call me that.
No, I have my own nickname for you. It's all good.
Snuggle bunnies.
That's exactly my nickname for
Red Bull.
you.
Gives you wings. I know the reference. I wasn't going to actually point out the actual reference. Though.
Yeah, we'll keep that.
We'll keep that
To ourselves for now.
You have to go to our OnlyFans for that. Geek Takes OnlyFans.
I'm going to be starting up an Instagram pretty soon. So.
Oh yeah, for the dancing. Or for
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I remember you being told you should do that, and I think it's a good idea. Without ever actually.
It's not AI doing art that killed your art career. It's the people who aren't willing to pay you but will still use AI trained on your art that killed your art career.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is true. And that is something that's interesting because a couple of weeks ago we did a show on the music that I had done for using AI for our game, and it sparked in the follow-up hour when a buddy of mine came into the show that I do after this, and they had started kind of going, I don't know. I think if you're anti-AI, you should be anti-AI up to and including not using AI to make music for your characters in a role-playing game. And I pondered that for a long time. I'm not sure I've rectified that yet.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of thinking it over. They had a very valid point. But on the flip side, I'm never going to make music. Yeah. I mean, I love music. I'm somewhat proficient at music, but I don't have the ability or the capability. But then version 4 of that program that I'm telling you about is about to come out, and now it's added a twist to this whole thing. And that is, with version 4, you can whistle into it or sing into it or play a synthesizer into it, and it will take the theme and build everything around it. So now you've written the lyrics, you've made the theme, and the AI just fleshed it out to sound like it was symphony. Now the question is, what does that mean?
Right.
that adds a whole new level of complete and total bizarreness to this.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed is how it can trigger somebody. It was a D&D group that I'm on with Facebook. Somebody posted a picture that was made with AI. Oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't D&D. It was Heroscape. They had live action versions of the Heroscape little miniatures made by AI, and they said, "Here's some art I made with AI."
Oh,
And
yeah, that's not
saying I made art seems to be a trigger for people. It's like, you didn't make art; you just punched in a bunch of words and it popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think training people to say, don't say you made art. I think it'd be better to say
I programmed this.
you programmed it, you crafted it,
Or-
you
yeah.
Google searched it, you cobbled it together.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, the other thing that bothers me about this is what was created for Ivy's songs. I've already tried it.
Ivy's
Ivy's my
character in the role
character.
playing game.
Yeah. I Shazammed it. There is no song out there that it's like. It did not find anything. So it's not like there are pieces that could be, it's not like it cobbled it together out of a Madonna song, gluing part of a David Bowie song to it. It's coming up with something that's not identifiable. And that's really weird. It's the same way with the art. We know that it took pictures from somewhere. We know that it figured out how to do this somewhere. But because it's not obviously Alex Ross or obvious, you know what I mean? That's the hard part. The real reason that, it aggravates me is Alex is right. It's not the AI. AI is not the problem. The biggest problem is, why would anyone ever pay me $1,000 to spend 2 weeks painting a picture when they could make Mid-Journey do it in 45 seconds?
You don't even have to be so drastic about it. Who would pay you $20 to do it
Right.
if they can get it for free?
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, to
that's
me,
the
it's-
biggest problem.
It
And
seems
so
that
now
it
we've
was-
kind of come full circle. Oh, sorry, Alex, go.
No, to interject a little bit, it seems to me that, and I'm thinking personally, and I've had more drinks than this. It depends on what you're using it for. Like I said before, it's like, it's the people who don't want to pay for things who are the problem. And I could see how, for people like you or me or Troy or just regular people who are just like, you know what, I kind of want this cool thing, and they may not have the means to pay for it, or they may have friends who can't do it, either because of talents, skill, or time. If I think it's used as a toy, as in something you play with and kind of mess around with and maybe get something like that you really like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like I found I punched in some stuff for my character artwork, and I definitely got, I mean, I haven't dug into it, but looking at some of the stuff, and I picked some pictures and saved them, they're AI generated.
Yeah, you can see it.
But it's the kind
Bob's
of thing
right.
too,
AI art doesn't have a soul.
Yet.
right?
Yet. But I mean, I agree. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I did a couple of Ivy pictures of my character,
Mhm.
typing it in, saying, make a green tiefling. And it had a real problem with the green tiefling part.
Because they don't exist.
Right. So it really had a problem with that. But when it finally kind of got around to it, some of the pictures weren't bad.
Mhm.
But Bob's right. They just didn't have a soul. I have that one picture that I spent 20 hours on, with the infamous picture where she's got the prestigious butts picture.
Prestidigitation.
Yep, Presti butt picture.
Which is the wrong spell.
Yep, probably. Well, it's an illusion. It's a minor illusion, but yeah. Anyway, she's got that going and everything. I like that picture. It's got a lot of character. It's warm, and it feels right. What's even funnier is I fed that in just out of curiosity, fed that picture into Mid-Journey, and it couldn't generate anything that made sense. I mean, even with my own art fed in, it didn't understand it. And so there are limits to it.
It was minor illusion when you conjure the image of a child.
Right. And
Okay.
no, it's when you conjure little people with pickaxes.
Pickaxes. Okay.
Yeah. Brent, I would definitely take your money, man.
Yep. You just need about 300 more people willing to do the same on a monthly
Right.
basis. But this brings us
And
back
Brent,
around.
by the way, Brent, you've been my buddy for so long. I do work for you. You know it. I'm not out of the field totally. I will absolutely do work.
You're just no longer trying to make it a career.
I'm just not going to make it a career anymore. It's not worth the stress. I considered myself successful. Bringing this back full circle. I managed to print a comic book. I have a real physical copy of my work. It looks like a comic. It acts like it smells like a comic. You know what I mean? It is a comic.
It's got that new comic smell.
It's got the new comic smell. It physically exists. You know, after all these years of reading other people's comics, it was wonderful. Here.
Yeah, post a link.
I'll post the link.
There's a good chance Morgan might be interested in it too.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna grab it here.
Hey, Cyndi Lauper's going on tour.
Yeah, she's
Farewell tour.
probably.
That's what
There
that's
we
what
go,
it says.
Going onto the ice flow.
Yep. But I mean it that to me was a success. I think I have sold probably 10 copies, but I'm successful. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it wasn't the money. That's not the value. The money wasn't the thing. It was that I did what I meant to do. Comics are hard. It takes effort. It takes time. You've got to kind of do all this work with it. It's just so brutal. So, you know, it was nice to finish it. And I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to continue with the comic, but to have one issue out there in the real world that actually exists. There are people I've never met before who have read my comic now. And it's like, that's kind of cool. Yeah,
Yep.
At least 11 or 12. You're right. At least 12. So
Well,
what do you count as success, right?
Well, now with 3D printing, you can print action figures from your comic. Or in action figures. They just stand there.
Statues.
Yeah. So yeah, success.
I'm pausing because all of my comics are from 3D models, which means that
I'm not lying.
You're not lying. I'm actually, that's why the pause. I'm like, I could. I just need to figure out how to get your kid to help me with that.
Donuts? I don't know.
Right. But yeah.
He's angry at the printer because it keeps having issues with him trying to get the print to stay in place, and he's tried all different kinds of glues and internet suggestions, and it keeps messing up, and he keeps fantasizing about hitting it with a baseball bat, and me telling him about Office Space and the printer scene. There's an old cut. Yeah, go ahead.
John Boy, to answer your question, the red one is not, but the blue one and the white one are. So
that's code.
Yeah. Well,
you don't have to explain it. It's fine.
Yeah. It's not necessarily bad. It's just depends on your idea of what you think is family friendly.
So you were going to say something about success before I interrupted you with 3D printing.
I was just success is a lot of things, and I keep thinking about a lot of things. I have a child.
Yep.
I call that a success.
I think all three of us would count our spawnlings as a success.
Yeah. And I think so too. I mean, I feel like, and that's a big deal because not everybody wants children, and not everybody would make good parents, but I always wanted a kid.
Mhm.
And so I call it a success for me. That's not but I don't think that's a metric. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that you are not successful if you do not have children. I think people have varying degrees, because there's, especially our group, we have a number of people in our group who do not want kids. They don't want anything to do with kids, and I respect that. I totally respect
It's
that.
a very outdated concept to pressure people into being parents.
During the last D&D game, there was a little side discussion about the whole thing and the concept around virginity. And I thought about it, and I'm like, there are a whole bunch of really stupid concepts out there.
What was I? Obviously, it was a side one. Means I wasn't part of it because I was running the game and I was part of whatever.
No,
was happening.
It was the you get one wish or whatever. We had gotten into this wish side discussion.
Oh, what to do if you get a wish spell?
I don't remember. Well, I think we were firing off with the wild magic, and we were like, what would happen if wish showed up? And then what would we wish for? And da 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 da. And I think that it was, we would wish for Fox to have his virginity back. And everybody was like, no, nobody wants that. And then there was a little like moment. And then like, there was this discussion about, that's really actually stupid. And it was like a moment of, yeah, actually.
And you could take this as a challenge if you want. If that happens and that's the wish, that is going to backfire so badly.
Oh, yeah, no, that wouldn't be the wish.
Because I already know exactly what I'm going to do with that. If you guys, I wish for my virginity back. Yeah, let me get that monkey's paw out and show you how this works.
No. What do you? No, never mind. I don't want to know what you're doing with that monkey's paw. I'm done. No, but I mean, it's all of them. But yeah, you have to be rich to be successful. You have to have children to be successful. Those things.
Yeah, it's a weird society. Things.
Yeah. Because I feel like I've been pretty successful. I just haven't been very prosperous.
What were you about to say, Alex?
Well, it harkens back to marriage is contractual. Marriage is for protecting wealth.
Yeah.
And power. And the virginity thing is who are the legitimate heirs? Who are the heirs that can inherit wealth, power, coupons, power? So, and yeah, it's a little bit. It is. I won't say archaic way of looking at it, but it is
there's a
very
reason.
Mercenary. Way of looking at it,
keeping the financial caste system in place,
right? Which then, even with that, you could still do it by paternity tests now. So that's, the system's outdated, and is permitted to be outdated because we can let it die, because even if you are still trying to hold on to that system, you can with a paternity test. So, yeah, I'm just sitting there going, it's such a, and of course, typical of our society, it's tilted against women. Women should be virgins, but men, no, being a virgin, that's bad. You're like, okay,
must be something wrong with you if you're a virgin, is the idea.
But if you're a woman and a virgin, that's great. Now, really?
Yeah. Double standards? What?
Right.
America? What?
Western society? Yeah.
Who says that? Pretty much all of Kentucky.
Right. I guess it depends on whether you're talking about Kentucky or not.
Except for Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, which is like a weird cultural island surrounded by not culture and racism and such. No, it's very much a concept coming from the 80s and 90s. It's definitely better today than it was then, but I think it still has a long way to go. especially when very recently we had a certain football player saying women belong at home in the kitchen raising the children and making food for their men,
Mm-hmm.
which where they said it was the right he was targeting his audience, and he was on target with his audience, because what he said made it outside of his audience into the real world. It caused some people going, that's a bad way to look at things, especially for somebody whose mother, say it,
His mom.
was actually a professional, like scientist type person, and
Yeah.
earned money and didn't live in the kitchen and shoot babies out every 9 months. Baby cannon.
Baby cannon.
But yeah, it's I do appreciate that you're like, who says that? That means luckily most of the people you hang out with aren't those people.
Aren't those people?
So you're in the right crowd.
Yes, please stay there. Yeah, it's just weird.
Technically, I haven't had a kid. I assisted in someone having a kid, but I haven't had a kid. So.
No, but you raised them. That's actually a
by
big deal.
Burning them to the ground. Oh, not that kind of raising.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it is important for us to acknowledge that as well. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and unlike you, I wasn't looking forward to being a parent because I was bringing in a lot of baggage of what I knew, how bad my role model of a parent, well, not role model, but my actual parent was. Right. And I was afraid somehow I was going to have these same problems, which was absolutely stupid, completely illogical. That doesn't change the thoughts weren't there, and I wasn't feared of it. And it took me actually going through it to say, see, you're perfectly fine. In fact, you're better than what most people probably would be at this. So stop.
Yeah.
Not giving yourself credit.
Right.
And we definitely did we're a village. Yep. We all take care of each other's kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
My kid now, it's funny how my kid has transitioned from one set of kids to the other in your family. I don't know what that's all about, but we got it.
I think it's both the age and the attraction to music. Since my oldest kid is going to be going off to study sound design and music, that's probably really the word I'm looking for is admirable in your kid's eyes.
Yes,
desirable. This has been awesome. I'm so happy that Morgan popped in here.
I am too.
I'm not happy with the stuff that has happened.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I'm really glad to see her.
Yeah. So thanks, and yeah, please come join us anytime. We'll be more in touch with you. See, the nice thing is, since you want to do this, hopefully that gives Guy and myself a little more incentive to get off our asses and put this thing together. Guys, I don't know if you saw in our private chat, but Alex had suggested we call it Rocky Mountain Car Chat. Since we're probably going to try to keep it PG, since we are going to have information that would be useful to young teenage drivers, I probably shouldn't have beep beep motherfucker as my catchphrase.
Right.
Although I really want it to be.
But you're really into that. I get it.
Instead of your mom, we need something new. So yeah. Seems like a bumper sticker. But yeah. Car
That's
chat.
Awesome.
Not car talk, maybe auto chat.
Auto
then
chat.
Then it sounds like an AI is talking to you.
Yeah, I like that. That's not a bad one.
Well, thanks again, guys. We still have 4 minutes. I don't want us to get too far off into a really deep rabbit hole.
So now let's talk about this scientific discovery of the end of the universe. Now, yeah.
Oh, I know what I can do. I'm going to do a callback to our first movie we made for the shootout, the 24-hour film shootout. Because Tara and I are now watching Drunk History UK version. And a scene happened. I'm like, oh, wow, that's almost exactly the scene that I orchestrated and filmed for 24-hour shootout with Guy in Ideas, where you start reading and talking about space, and we cut away, and we're like 10 minutes later, and we come back, and you're still reading about space.
Yes.
In this, there were two comedians telling a thing about history, and one starts going off on this tangent about history and how this thing affects the situation, and it fades out and fades back in 10 minutes later, and the other comedian is just sitting there holding his head, waiting for the guy to finish talking about everything. But yeah, it's on Paramount Plus, which a certain someone might be pirating it from a friend. So thank you, friend.
Right.
in Michelle Yao news,
Yes, speaking of
because I keep up with that. I just saw something where I'm like, wow, there's like a 1% chance I might be able to run into her, because it turns out she's going to be in Prague the same time I'm going to be in Prague shooting for Netflix. So watch out. You might need to get a restraining order
again.
again.
No, my wife and I have been together for 23 years, and when we were still living on Cheeseman Park, Cap Hill area, we had gotten the news that Christina Ricci had just wrapped some kind of TV show or movie she was doing in the area. And I tell Lauren this, and Lauren goes, "You mean we could have been stalking Christina Ricci for the last 2 months?" Like, yes. Absolutely.
That's funny.
All right.
It is a thing. It is definitely a thing. Yeah, Brent's mentioning that Starship launch attempt 4 is on Thursday, and Starliner might launch as soon as Wednesday.
You have 2 minutes to
But
elaborate.
I am questionable. But the thing that's really cool about this,
that's you questionable is beside the point.
Yeah.
What about the spaceships?
One thing that's fascinating is at this point in time, Dream Chaser is being loaded up. Starliner is already on the pad, and Starship is actually on a pad too, which means that we have a lot of spacecraft from private industry that is on its way into space. Dreamcatcher is one that I have been waiting to see for a long time because it's a lifting body aircraft type creature. And so I'm really into seeing what Dreamcatcher can do. I've been waiting for us to bring back another space plane for a while. And so I've been kind of, because we've gone back to capsules, but there's now another space plane going up. So I'm really into all of this stuff. It is a happy little cornucopia of space stuff going on right now. And I'm just like so excited and happy for every spaceship. I'm hoping Starship makes it into orbit. This is the hope.
It fills your little space heart full of hope and joy.
It does. It's so exciting.
Nice.
There's so many wonderful things going on.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it. We just hit 10 o'clock, so we should say
time
our
for me
goodbyes.
to move on. Yep.
Don't go into the light.
You know how that
Celebrate
goes.
while you still can.
Right. That's all the time that we've got for today. Thank you all for joining us. I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
And I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Take.